Bonjour, my French Life family. Welcome to Weekday Wanderings in Paris. Today we are in the 12th arrondissement in a place called Bercy. It's a very nice place. It's on the Seine. It's very close to the périphérique, and I'm outside a museum called the Musée de l'Art Foraine. I'll turn it around. You can have a good look at this. So I chose this series today for a few reasons. Number one, because I haven't been here in a while. I'll tell you a bit more about that shortly. And also it's a really good mix of modern and old, and very old. So this is called Les Pavillons de Bercy. It is the Musée des Arts Foraines, which is basically a museum of antique fairground attractions. Sorry for the noise. So, antique fairground attractions. It's very beautiful. If you have seen the movie Midnight in Paris, there is a scene where they're having a party there. So it's a good place to go at night time. I've not been here yet. I'm saving it to go with my kids and go at night time, but of course it's been shut for a long time. So it's open again and I'm looking forward to going soon. Okay, it is located in a wine cellar. So this area, Bercy, was a port. It's been a port for many, many years, in fact. But in the late 1800s, this particular area was turned into a wine market. And in fact, it was the largest wine market in the world at the time. So it's pretty special. All of these buildings were built to house the wine. So they would come up the Seine and they would be dropped off at the port, and all the wines would be stored here. So let's go across. So in the meantime, the museum has been popped here. Let's have a little peek inside. It's a bit difficult to see with the lighting, but it looks absolutely gorgeous. Okay. So the area of Bercy. So this area was made quite an impact on me, because this is where my Paris story started. I first came to France in, April 2006. April 2006. And so, what was that? 15 years ago? And I actually stayed at a hotel just over here. You can see it up there. Get a better view from over here. So this is another side of the Pavillon de Bercy, where the Musée Art Foraine is located. Oh, I can see somebody online. Hello, whoever's there. Okay, thank you for finding me. Okay, this is another entrance to the park. The main entrance is the one we saw around the corner. Okay, so this area is called the Place des Vins de France, for obvious reasons, because this is where the market was. The wine market. So yeah, late 1800s, this was set up as a wine market, and all the wines from France were put here and distributed to their other locations. So when I first arrived in Paris in 2006, I stayed at the hotel, which is now called the Pullman, which is just over here, but back then it was called the Sofitel Bercy. Very nice. I felt very spoiled. Okay, so we're in the Place des Vins de France. Hello, Susan McGregor. Thank you for joining me. I'm pleased that you found us. Sorry again about the issues with the phone. It's not allowing me to start my live video from the event like it normally does. And I've been trying to sort out that issue, but I'm not really sure what's going on. Okay, so what we are heading to now is the really exciting thing. And it's so this is called Bercy Village. You might have heard of it, or the other name for it is the Cours Saint-Emilion. Okay, Saint-Emilion is a very, very popular place, but also a wine terroir in France. So some might say it's the best wine in France. I'm not really sure. I'm not an expert on these things. But the Cours Saint-Emilion, or Bercy Village, is amazing. Okay, the road that we're on at the moment is called the Rue des Pirogues de Bercy. If you remember when I was at Carnavalet, I showed you a canoe. So it's a Neolithic canoe, as it says here. Rue des Pirogues means canoe de Bercy, so 4,600 years before Jesus Christ, so BC. So one of the canoes they discovered in this area because like I said, this is a very modern area, but when they were setting up all these modern buildings, they discovered these Neolithic canoes, which are now in the Musée Carnavalet. And yeah, so very, very old. This area obviously supported a very, very old civilization, which is pretty cool. Okay. Now, here we are going into the Cours Saint-Emilion. They have these beautiful storehouses, which are considered like they're registered as a national monument. And all of these entranceways are always housing beautiful photographic exhibitions or art exhibitions. At the moment, they have an exhibition which is dedicated to sport in honour of the Olympics that is currently going on. So it's just a smattering of these photographs. I can see Jen Cardiff is online. Good morning, or good evening, Jen. How are you, sweetheart? And here we are in the Cours Saint-Emilion. It's a beautiful place. I've been coming here for a very long time. Not that I've been recently, but I used to come quite a bit when I lived in France 12 years ago. The biggest attraction, of course, is the big giant movie theatre, which is at the end here. But also because of all of these beautiful little boutique stores. So these were all originally wine cellars. You can imagine, the wine was all stored in these. They're modernised inside, of course, but you've got the basic old buildings. And of course, you have a railway track down the middle, which was for transporting them. So you can imagine the port was there, behind where this building is now. And then they would load them onto the tracks here and then head off down to the various storehouses. Okay, so you've got lots of stores here. Okay, Nature et Découverte, it's a really, really, really cool store. It has all sorts of ecologically based things, arty things, activities. It's a really, really super shop. You find something for everybody there. This is one of my favourite shops. It's À la Styliste. It is a kitchen cookware shop, and because I fancy myself a cake maker from time to time, I like to go in there and see what little treasures they're selling. Okay, so there's always a good turnover of the stores that are down in Cours Saint-Emilion. So like I said, I haven't been here for a long time, but there are some that kind of stand the test of time. There's Fragonard. Okay, there are two famous Fragonard. This one is the Parfumerie. Okay, he made perfumes, and Fragonard perfume shops can be found all over Paris. And there's also a Fragonard perfume museum, which is near Opera. So I've not been there. If you're into perfumes or perfume making, that might be a nice place. Okay, so just have a quick zip in here. More photos from the exhibition. So these are a lot of them are old photos from the École de Sport. So where they people have been training in the past for the Olympics and various other events, I'm sure. So we're having a beautiful day today. I've recently got back to Paris. I was in the countryside at my in-laws' place. But I'm back in Paris now, and since I've been back, the weather has been spectacular. Really hot and sunny. The other thing that Cours-Saint-Emilion is very famous for are their restaurants. Lots and lots of great restaurants. This one's probably not classed as great, but it's still one of my favourites. It's called a Hippopotamus. It's a family restaurant. So it has really good quality standard meals, and it's very child friendly. And when you order a main, your sides are endless, which means if you order a side of fries, you can just keep eating fries until you are so full. You just keep asking, can I have more fries, please? And they just bring you more fries. Or if you have ratatouille, can I have more ratatouille, please? So lots of beautiful, beautiful cafes and restaurants. Some of them are really big labels. Okay, there we have Eric Kaiser, who's a pâtissier. Okay, there's Damin Frère, which is a tea shop. Five Guys. Okay, that's an American, what is it, burgers and fries and milkshakes kind of shop. And clothing stores. During the summer, so now in other words, they do animation or activities. They will quite often do things mainly focused at kids. So if you come here in the evenings, there will be some sort of activity running for children, whether it be arts activities or storytelling or dance or things like that. So lots and lots of clothing stores. And voila. Okay, I'll probably head back down this way and go out the other exit here. So yeah, this is Cours-Saint-Emilion. It's just opened because of course it's 10:30 in the morning here, or 10:43 now. So it's a bit quieter than it will be, but you can imagine in the evenings it's a very popular place because it's pedestrian only, of course. It gets really bustling. You've got the movie theatre, which draws in a lot of people, and the dinner crowd as well. But at this point in the day, you're probably going to get a lot of people who are enjoying just the general vicinity. So in terms of other attractions in the area, so we already saw the Musée de l'Art Forain. Okay, so more artwork here. Okay, the Cours-Saint-Emilion is serviced by the Metro Line 14, and the stop is called Cours-Saint-Emilion. So Line 14 is the newest and most efficient and cleanest metro station in Paris. So it's very easy to get to. This road we're on now is called the Rue François Truffaut, and Rue François Truffaut is one of France's most celebrated movie makers. He was one of the founders of the style of movie called the Nouvelle Vague, which are such movies as Les 400 coups, Jules et Jim, and things like that. Okay. So lots of cafes and stuff. What we also have here is the Parc de Bercy. Starbucks if you're so inclined, but really with all of those other cafes it's pretty incredible to just go to course en million. Okay, so the Parc de Bercy, it's quite a large park. We're not going to get all the way through it, but I'll just show you the beginning of it. So if we were looking straight down here, if we could look through all those trees, we would be looking at the Seine. So it's a very tranquil area and quite big. So it actually goes a long way down this direction here. At the end of here you will also find the Gare de Bercy. So Paris has lots of big train stations. So the big ones are Gare du Nord, Gare de l'Est, Gare Saint-Lazare, Gare Montparnasse, Gare de Lyon. Those are the main ones. And they all go in different directions. Obviously Gare du Nord goes to the north, and Gare de l'Est goes to the east. Gare de Lyon goes to around Lyon, of course, and all those surrounding areas. Gare Montparnasse goes to Bretagne and that sort of part of France, and the Gare de Bercy is a lot smaller, but it also goes to L'Auvergne, Clermont-Ferrand, sort of around the middle of France. And so, yeah, so the Gare de Bercy is at the end of the park down here. Also what's down here is the Cinémathèque, the Musée Cinémathèque, which is a museum for the, what as they call in France, the seventh art, which is movie making. So that's, I guess, what the François Truffaut reference on the street back there was. So it's very dense. It's a very busy road to the left of us here, but you can't hear it much. You probably can hear this road this way though. Okay, see this wall here, this retaining wall? That's quite old, isn't it? So it's probably something to do with, because this area here, the reason it was set up is it was outside of Paris. So you have another railway line here, so that would have been more storehouses. So yeah, this was outside of Paris, outside the Barrière d'Octroi, which was the octroi was the tax the tax that was payable on all goods that came into Paris. So that's why the market here is outside of Paris, and then they would pass through to come into Paris. So the area beyond here tends to be a little older because it's it was well established, whereas this area here was kind of just a storage area. Oh, I'm unfit. Okay, so salut Judy, welcome, thank you. I'm pleased that you could join us. I hope you had a good private chat today. Okay, so yeah, if we go there, this is the Rue de Tolbiac. Well, the Pont de Tolbiac, which will be going over the Seine. Of course we can't see it from this angle, but as you can see, the park's quite dense, and over this way it continues. And of course the other thing at the end of this park, which we won't get to because it's a bit too far away, is what used to be called Bercy Omnisport, which is the Court Hotel Arena now, I believe it's called. It was obviously bought out by another company. And that is it's apparently the third largest events venue in France. Can't be the world, surely. It doesn't look that big, but apparently it is. So that's where we hold major sports events, or usually concerts. So if you want to come and see like a big concert, like I don't know, I can't remember the last. I remember Justin Timberlake was here, and I think it was the last one that I saw. But obviously we're not having a lot of concerts lately. They're starting to kick off again, but the big names come to this one here. Judy says, sorry I'm late. Where are you, Jackie? Right, we are in the Parc de Bercy. We've just been through Bercy Village, Cours Saint-Emilion, and so we're just walking down here to this end here. So I haven't actually been in this part of the park before. So it's quite a big park, and it's the type of place you would just want to laze and wander for a really long time. So, interesting things to see. But in the main, it's just a lot of greenery, and can you imagine living in those little apartments there? That'd be nice. So yes, this is a very modern area, very recently made, but of course that contrasts with the historical nature of Cours Saint-Emilion and the Pirogue de Bercy. So anyway, it's just a lot of greenery. And like I said, if we could see that way, we'd be able to see the Seine, but it's very dense, so it's just a place to relax. Oh, look at these native trees from New Zealand. Bercy Park. This is Bercy Park. We'll see how far we can get down here. So there are a few structures in here. I'm not really sure what they are. It's a beautiful old house. Now this would be the house to live in, don't you think? Let's go have a look at it. Okay, and as you can see, more railway tracks. As you can see, obviously this was another storage area. I can imagine this was probably the house where, I don't know, somebody, maybe the tax collector lived. I'm not entirely sure. Let's see if we can find something that tells us. You see all these interesting buildings over here? They are certainly from that era. More railway tracks. Look at all the grapes here. This is the Maison de Jardinage. I understand you can come here and get lots of supports about growing things. This is the overture. Oh, look at that little wasp. It's a paper wasp. It's a bit scary. The insect life here in France is very different from what I'm used to. The thing that scares me the most are wasps and frelons, which are basically giant wasps, and what are they called? Basically hornets. So of course we don't have those in New Zealand, but it's kind of scary when you see them here. Okay. Lovely flowers. They don't smell. Okay, we try to be very ecological here in France. We try to keep weeds growing relatively freely, and you're not supposed to use pesticides and fertilizers, and weed killers are outlawed. Oh, here we go. So this is the sports stadium, or the event stadium I was telling you about. It used to be called Omnisport, now it's called the very large park, and so verdant it is, isn't it? I have actually walked right from one end to the other, which I didn't expect to do, but here we are. Okay, so it looks like it's just a big walled building. If you bear with me, I'll just go up to the top here and then you can get a view of it. Didn't know that it had the little river running down it over here, which we'll head towards now. So this is Bercy. So we're closer now. So there's the Cinémathèque, by the way. Cinémathèque, so that's the Museum of Cinema. They have an exhibition there for Georges Méliès, who was an absolute pioneer in cinema, both for France and New Zealand and the world. Now, if you've seen the movie Hugo, or what's it called? In English, we just call it Hugo, but I think in French it's the life of Hugo Cabret. It tells a story which is loosely based on Georges Méliès. So he was a real person, and that story is kind of based on him. So what we're looking at is the wall of oh no, sorry, that's over there. But let's go up here anyway, just so we can see what's up here. So the sports stadium is actually over there. Sorry, I thought this was it, but it's very similar. The outside edge is very similar. Sorry, you're going to hear me puffing and panting again as I go up the stairs. Let's go over here so we're not videoing anybody. Lots of playgrounds. So, as I always say, children are very well catered for here. And this is a great place to go. Lots of shade, which would be great on a hot sunny day like this. And lots of water. Obviously we can't drink this water, but there are lots of fountains around, including those Wallace fountains. Not the original ones, of course. Okay. Well, this is a great place to come, actually. Wow, look at this. Ah, I've been looking for these, and here we go. So this is a raised walkway which goes all along the Seine, and I was been looking for these statues. I didn't know where they were, but here we go, here they are. Okay. Now this is called the Passerelle Simone de Beauvoir. So Simone de Beauvoir was a philosopher existentialist who was the lover companion of Jean-Paul Sartre, who was also a philosopher existentialist. So as you can see, we've got a busy street here. So this is one of the main roads coming into Paris from the east. I think this is reminiscent of the Millennium Bridge in London, yes? There's our wonky building, which everyone hates. Okay, and what we have over here are a couple of things I need to show you. This is the Piscine Josephine Baker. So Josephine Baker was a very famous dancer, musician, singer in the 1920s and 30s. And she was also a war hero. She was a member of the resistance, which is incredible. And so anyway, this is a pool which is named after her. You see it's actually on a boat. So it's a very famous pool. Okay, and down here we can see Notre Dame. And we can see, oh, the Tour Saint-Jacques there. Of course, I'm zooming in heaps. Now over here we have four very large buildings. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you can imagine, they were books standing up on end and open. So you've got 4 books standing there. This is called the Bibliothèque François Mitterrand. There's also a large shopping movie complex underneath it, and that used to be one of my favourite places to go. And that's also on line 14. So after you go to Cours Saint-Emilion on the metro, the next stop is Bibliothèque François Mitterrand. So that's where that is, across the river. So anyway, I'm going to finish there because well, this is a good place to finish, isn't it? I've talked for too long anyway. Thank you very much, everybody. It was lovely to see you. I hope you enjoyed that walk. I hope it's somewhere new that you weren't aware of and maybe give you a new perspective of Paris. The sun's really hot. I need to start heading home soon. So have a good evening or day or whatever where you are, and we will talk to you on Friday, and I have something special planned for Friday. See you then. Bye. Thanks, Judy. Thanks for seeing you. Take care.